It's full steam ahead on my first watch through of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I'm here to talk about 3 episodes in particular from season 4. We are talking about A New Man, episode 12, episode 13, The Iron Team, and episode 14, Goodbye Iowa, if I can fit it all in, so let's not waste any time. Episode 12, A New Man, has a lot going on. We've got Buffy's 19th birthday party, we've got boyfriend, Riley, and we have Demon Giles. Like, the notes I have for this episode are sporadic and all over the place, but I had a great time. I love how this show continues to acknowledge her birthday every year. I think that's a cool kind of through line that they've kept, and I hope they keep it through the rest of the show. I also love that Riley is now her boyfriend and that they put a label on it and are official. Obviously, that does get more complicated as the next few episodes progress, but, like, I very much like him for her at this stage of the story. Obviously, I don't know what's going to happen. Things can change on a dime, but for now, I like Riley as Buffy's boyfriend. And I also like that Riley and the Initiative fully realize that she is way out of their league, both as a girlfriend to Riley and as just like a slayer in general. She has slain so many more monsters and vampires than they ever wished to, and it puts them in their place a little bit, and I like that. One of the quotes I love was Riley saying, "I suddenly find myself needing to know the plural of apocalypse." That was a great line. Another thing I wanted to mention that's completely off topic, but it's about Spike. Bestie Patricia, who's watching these with me, said, and I quote, "He looks like he's about to start singing Grease Lightning," which made me laugh out loud because she's correct for that. He does look like a greaser through and through from the 1950s, which, you know what? Good for him. It's a look that works. The series of events that lead to Giles becoming a demon temporarily is really interesting to me. Him not getting along with Professor Walsh made sense to me because she has a very strange vibe and I knew it would clash with him. And it kind of made me sad that he realized that everyone else knew about the Initiative but him. Like, he has been left out of the loop, which then in turn leads him to sort of going off with Ethan, who pops out of nowhere. And before I get to that, the part where Ethan starts villain monologuing behind the door after Giles leaves, like, to himself, to an empty room, and then Giles comes back in, and he goes, "Oh, bugger, I thought you'd gone." I had to pause the show because I was laughing so hard. That was comedy gold. Like, the comic timing or the comedic timing of this show has been so good recently, specifically with this season. Like, that whole scene killed me. And I love how they end up going to dinner afterwards or like going drinking afterwards. They're both very drunk. And it was like, low-key felt like a date. I don't know. It was like, happy Pride, everyone. I'm gonna make this all about queer subtext. But anyways, their dynamic is really interesting, I find. And the whole like bait and switch where Ethan goes, you are very attractive. And you think he's saying it to Giles, and Giles kind of looks at him, and then you realize that he's saying it to the waitress. I was like, they got us there. And then there's like all this kind of like music, and then he's like, "The night is our time, a time of magic." He says this in like a sultry voice, and then they're like, "To magic." I'm like, what is going on here? Like, between them and whatever is happening with Tara and Willow, I'm like, there's something in the air, and that something is Rainbow. Do you know what I'm saying? Speaking about Willow and Tara and the floating rose, I thought when they introduced this storyline, it was going to be a temporary one, like we'd get to see them do magic maybe once together, but it's an ongoing thing, and boy, howdy is there subtext. We're going to talk about that later. But back to Demon Giles. Listen to me right now. You know I love a monster on this show. The monster effects on this show make me laugh hysterically, and this was no different because Giles specifically in this episode is iconic to me. I think this is my second to Oz's werewolf. I think this is my new favorite monster effect on the show. I was laughing the entire time. And plus, Anthony Head is such a funny actor. Like, he really nailed the comedic timing of this role, and especially when he realizes that, we're hearing him speak as Giles, but everyone else is hearing him speak in this demon language. I was laughing so hard. When Giles and Spike are in the car together, by the way, I love them teaming up. I think it's fantastic. And Giles makes Spike stop the car so that he can get out and like chase after and scare the professor. I, again, crying laughing. So funny. Of course, they get Giles back. Everything is okay. I love his last line where he's referring to Ethan and he goes, I'm going to go watch him get manhandled into a vehicle. That's a very interesting choice of words. Anyways, and we're back to Giles being concerned for Buffy, and the scales are balanced again, and he knows his place within the general group. And then the reveal at the end that Professor Walsh was a part of the 314 business. Some top secret shit, which we're going to get into right now. Okay, so next we have 413, the Iron Team. And I just have to say, overall, Xander is so much more tolerable this season. He's just way less annoying than he was in earlier seasons. Maybe that's him getting older. I don't know. But you know what? You all were right. I like him and Anya. Anya was annoying me at first, but I think they're a good couple. Like, they work. They're making it work. And she is great comedic relief. And I like them together. They're kind of foolish, and you know what? We need a little bit of levity in this show, right? The whole thing, though, this episode with Professor Walsh studying Buffy was so creepy, especially when they eventually revealed at the end that she was literally watching them have sex through a hidden camera. Ew! Like, what the hell? We were gagged by that, like, negative. Like, excuse me? I won't lie, the plot arc with Professor Walsh went way faster than I anticipated, because we go from revealing that she has been Frankensteining this demon basically under this top secret project that the initiative is not really privy to, certainly not Riley and his, friends. But then she gets what I'm saying as shish kebabbed by her Frankenstein creature. At the end. I didn't think they were actually going to kill her off. They did. I'm shocked by that. I thought she was going to be the next big bad of the season. Which means certainly something worse is on the horizon. Fun stuff. So yeah, that whole thing, really shocking to me. So Willow and Tara or Tara? Can someone clarify that for me? I'm terrible with learning character names. Like, it's really bad. And I actually know it's Tara or Tara, but I don't know, like, I know the spelling of it, but I don't know the pronunciation of it, so someone clarify that for me, thank you. Anyways, something's going on there. Something is going on there. What I couldn't tell you. I don't think they're going to make anything explicitly queer in this show because of when it took place, but the subtext is subtexting, man, because, oh my god, the whole thing with Willow, like, not inviting her to come along because she thought it was going to be a Buffy close friends hang, which she really wanted, and was very disappointed when it wasn't that, and Buffy invited Riley and all his friends along and kind of ruined it, and then went back to her later and was like, oh, I wanted to invite you, and there was like all this longing in this scene, and then she goes to hang out with her like late at night, and there's just like all this insinuation that they're like feeling something for each other that's a little deeper than like maybe normal friendship, but it's like under the veil of witchcraft. So I'm like, I'm not, which is, by the way, an inherently kind of sapphic category. So I'm like, it's hard for me not to see that as someone who loves queer subtext in media. I'm like, interesting. But also there's something low-key suspicious about her because she ends up not doing the spell. I think it's in the next episode. I have to check my notes, but something weird happens there where I'm like, hold on. What was that? So put a pin in that one. Also random, but Spike coming into the house under the tarp going, close the door! Funniest shit I've ever seen. Crying, laughing. He is so funny. Spike coming and going from Giles's home under various like tarps and jackets is my favorite running gag. And then the whole scene where Buffy threatens Professor Walsh right before she gets shish kebabbed on camera, and Riley can see the whole thing go down, and she threatens her like, you tried to kill me? Hell no. Like, I will get you. Loved that. Really was quite satisfying. The fact that Professor Walsh thought that she could pull one over on Buffy is funny to me. She did not succeed. And now we get to episode 14, Goodbye, Iowa. At least Riley now knows where Hostile 17 is. It's Spike. Spike is here. He lives in Giles' house / in this crypt. He's just around. Don't worry about it. Look, the crash out that Riley has this episode makes sense to me because he's had his entire worldview turned upside down. Everything he's known and believed in for God knows how long is wrong and he's been lied to by people he thought he could trust. And he gave up his entire life for this, initiative. And what is it? Just complete fraud. So I get why he was crashing out. Now, it makes more sense when it's revealed that his erratic behavior was from withdrawals. Like, I guess they were having him on some sort of crazy medical regimen, which the pills now make more sense, and that was what was happening. And so I'm glad he isn't just aggressive by nature, and that was just him withdrawing. But I'm pleasantly surprised by how big of a character he is and how interesting I still find him. Finding new ways to bring up Xander's military experience, and I love how Anya was like, you played G.I. Joe for one night. I was like, yes, queen. Put him in his place. See, she's growing on me. I also love the random quote from Willow. That's why they call them cartoons, not documentaries. She's a little smartass sometimes, and we love her for it. Every time I think a character is going to be on the show for a while, I'm proven otherwise. Again, the elimination of Professor Walsh is surprising to me. I thought she was going to be on the show much longer than she was. And another thing, I just talked about this for the last episode, but the thinly veiled metaphor for queerness and intimacy through the lens of witchcraft. With the spells that they're doing together between Willow and Tara. I'm just saying. Okay. So what else do we have on here? Oh, one of the funniest lines Xander has ever said in the show. When he's being shown the initiative, like, bunker whatever by Buffy, and he goes, I totally get it now. Can I have sex with Riley too? And he says it with so much earnestness. It was so funny. And she's just like, all right, just moving on. Like, she doesn't even address it, because it's like, it's Xander being Xander. Like, it doesn't mean anything. I'm not saying, oh, this is a gotcha for Xander. I just thought it was funny. Like, the way it was written, the way that line was delivered, so sincere. Again, the show has just been so funny lately. Adam, the Frankenstein demon creature, having an entire monologue on identity. Riley's just basically suffering, realizing his whole life has been a lie. Really interesting stuff, especially when Adam, I'm calling it Wraithed the other lab guy, which is a creature I know from Supernatural with the wrist needles. That was kind of a similar thing there. Obviously, it's like a folklore thing. It's not just from Supernatural, but I know it from Supernatural. And the end of the episode, I loved, where Buffy's like, oh, he has nothing to hold on to. Like, I'm worried about Riley. And he has the Buffy handkerchief with him. So he does have something to hold on to. Nice touch, you guys. Good end of the episode. Man, those last few episodes were insane. Like, so much is happening in this show. And for all intents and purposes, we're like in the middle of the second half of the season. So there's still like quite a few more episodes left of season 4. I can't imagine where this is leading. And then, there's all sorts of other things happening separately with Angel, which I'm going to post separately. Oh my God. Like, I'm consuming so much story. So thank you for watching and following along. The next one will be posted shortly.